105.1 The GOAT and New Radio Sports Network.com, joined by the head coach of the Gibraltar Vikings, Mike Peck, after a 55-0 loss to the Florence Bobcats in the opening round of the 8-player playoffs. And, Coach, what was your message to your team after this game?
Our message actually was, we talked about earlier in the week. I told them win, lose, or draw. As long as we gave 100% effort tonight, we were going to be happy. And I didn't think the first half we quite gave what we were capable of giving. I think we maybe took some plays off. But I think even being down 28-0 at halftime, I think we came out pretty good in the second half. I think we showed some fight. I mean, obviously there were a couple big plays we talked about on the radio show. We knew we were going to have to limit the big plays if we were going to be successful. And a couple times where we didn't really contain the cutback, and it is what it is. We're going to learn from it. I mean, we had a lot of young kids out there. I mean, as much as we had 4 seniors, we also, when you listen to our starting lineups every game, a lot of those kids are freshmen and sophomores, so they got a valuable experience. The Florence team we played tonight is a really good team. I would expect to see them do good things again next week. They're going to play tough, and the fact that they're very well disciplined, I mean, that's hopefully a learning experience our kids can take from that and understand that that's where we want this program to go in the future.
And you mentioned that a lot of times with teams like what we saw with Florence, it's not just, hey, you got some pretty good skills position that run the ball real well. It seemed like blocking-wise, just the guys, what they did on the edge just made things hectic trying to do anything defensively. And then likewise, offensively, they did a good job filling in gaps where the offense just really had nowhere to go once they had the ball.
Yeah, they were. Like I said, they're a very disciplined team. They're good on their skill positions. They're linemen, like we talked about earlier in the year. A lot of times the linemen don't get the credit they deserve. Obviously, 71 for them is a big player, and he's got a big motor, and he was pretty active on their offense. And obviously, we were having a tough time on our offense trying to stop him from getting to our quarterback whenever we drop back. So those are a lot of times the guys that people don't see, but obviously that group of kids that they have over there, they've put time in, they put some pride in it. I mean, we had a good group last year with Jack Duffy and Emmett and Marshall, and we kind of had some of them same qualities, and so I can relate to it. Our kids can relate to it, and sometimes as we talked about at the end of the game, you're going to run into a team that's better than you. And tonight, Florence was obviously better than us, and like I said, we're going to go back to the drawing board. Hopefully, get some kids in the weight room in the off season, and we'll come back bigger and stronger next year.
And I know, obviously, when you look at the score, it's hard to pull some things as positives. But what are some things that, maybe kind of goes, what, this is going to sting, but I'm already looking forward to, next August because of this or that? What's that this or that you saw maybe these last couple of games that has you excited for next season?
I kind of hit on it earlier. I think just the overall feeling I get as I'm greeting my kids as they get announced and hearing all those kids that are freshmen and sophomores getting announced on our starting lineup, that's the part that's got me excited. I mean, coming into this year with 12 kids, we just didn't know what to expect, and now we got a couple more here at the end of the year. But the fact that we are young and we had enough older kids spread in there to help us be successful as we were this year. But I think there were, like I said, there were a lot of learning experiences tonight. There were kids that showed up on the third, fourth week of the year, and we could dominate some of the teams in our conference that might have been not quite as good as these guys, but obviously they got up against some better players. Now they're going to know what they have to work on. So I think a lot of it's going to be some off-season work and just the overall upbeatness that even though we only had 16 kids, I want to, 12 of them were pretty much underclassmen. I think we got 2 juniors that are Jeffrey, I think we got 3 now. So, I mean, really of those 12, we still got 9 kids that are underclassmen. That's a decent amount. We got a really good 8th grade class coming in, so I mean we're gonna be competitive again next year. I mean, as I told these guys in the eighth practice of the year, I said, you guys are a playoff team, and they all looked at me like I was crazy. Well, we made that happen, but unfortunately we just ran into a better team tonight.
And we're gonna pan over here. You had a nice crowd of Gibraltar fans that made the 3-hour drive, and I can tell you each and every week hundreds of people listen to you guys on 105.1 The GOAT. What do you want to say to the fans that have followed you all season long?
I mean, just as a coaching staff, we just appreciate all the people that, 1, come to our games, and 2, support us online and on the radio, because without that, the kids just wouldn't understand how special this game is they get to play, and having that support is really good. I just heard the parents give all the kids a big cheer as they walked over there, and that's important for the kids to hear, because sometimes we're not the always most positive, so it's good when they can go back to mom and dad and the community that's positive about what's going on and the things that happen at Gibraltar.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for all the time that you've given us all season long. It's been a fun season, and let's start counting the days to August.
Sounds good, Tim. We'll talk to you next year.
All right, you've been watching 105 on the GOAT and NewRadioSportsNetwork.com.